It's like an annual reconnect, as I told you, coming on the air here on MLB Roundtrip with Perfect Game here on MLB Network Radio. I feel like I can call him a friend. I don't think I'm stretching it because we talk pitching, we talk baseball, we talk arm care, we talk development. And I think with this guest, I think for me, selfishly, as someone who's a father and also been in the amateur space now for about a decade, we talk about the mind of the athlete too. And I think all of that goes into it for a man who's kind of known as America's pitching coach. It's the Texas Baseball Ranch. It's in Montgomery, Texas. Ron Wolforth is the founder and CEO, and Ron spends time with us now. Ron, really appreciate our get together. Thanks for hanging out with us.
It's so good to see you again, Darren. It's so good.
This is an interesting time. I want to dive deep, and maybe that's in segment 2 on an article you just wrote about a determined player and a committed player. We'll tell you who that player is a little bit later on. I want to dive deep on that article. Great article. Go find it on perfectgame.org. But we're in the middle of the high school season now. And I think athletes are doing one of two things if they're the kind of athletes you deal with, Ron. A lot of the upper tier, maybe middle half to upper tier,
For
they're
sure.
dealing with their high school seasons. In other words, maybe they're relievers, maybe they're starters, but they're also looking ahead to summertime, whether they come to the Texas Baseball Ranch and spend a couple or up to 11 weeks, or maybe they're going to play extensively for their travel team. I'm going to start very simple. What are some of the things if young athletes pop by, especially your clients, those that have worked with you, and they're reaching out, hey, Ron, I'm feeling healthy right now. I'm in the middle of my high school season. Just give me a few slices of advice. Where would you start with me in the middle of my high school season?
Well, I would make sure, and this is not going to be a surprise to you, and I don't think it'll be a surprise to too many of your listeners, that once you're on the mound, it really then matters that you're throwing strikes, and that is so important. And not just over the plate strikes. That's what a lot of people would call control. For the higher level of baseball, as you go up in levels, it's not just about control or throwing strikes. It's about command. It's about, are you able? We would just take a look at them. I would sit them down and say, okay, so is your fastball having any difficulty locating your fastball in any of these locations? Are you able to elevate the fastball when you want to? Are you ready to, or you're able to go into the inside of the plate? Are you be able to throw the baseball the outside half to both right and left-handed hitters? And then can you bury the fastball when you need to? I think it would not come to surprise of too many parents that the answer to that is yes and no, meaning that typically they'll have one or two locations that they're okay with their fastball, and then one or two locations that they really struggle with their fastball. And during the season, it's not time to try to be gaining MPHs or anything like this. It's time to really be polishing your skill, and especially trying to do the best you can to get 3 outs before they get touch that odd shaped plate, and it's a run. And so your ability to throw the fastball to all locations of the zone predicates everything. And then from there, we take a look at, okay, what about your breaking ball? Are you having any trouble with that? And basically what we do with the breaking ball is, are you able to throw that a decent one for a strike? And then are you able to throw the nastier one at the apex of the plate? And then are you able, if you're able to do those two, are you able to do any sort of backdoor stuff? And so you kind of run through that. First and foremost, be able to throw it for a strike. And then second, can you, when you're ahead in the count, can you make that a little bit nastier? And then eventually, can you kind of freeze them with a backdoor? And then the same thing with the changeup. And so in the season, you already mentioned arm health and recovery. That's primary. But if their arm health and recovery is good, then we go immediately to how well they command the baseball. How good is their? Are they able to get their better stuff over as often as they would like?